Welcome back to the channel, you guys. My name is Marcus. Beautiful day here on the show. Today in front of us, we have the 2020 BMW 228i Gran Coupé. If you're watching this, clearly you want a small, compact, and fun to drive BMW, and this might be the one for you. Let's get into it. All right, you guys, BMW 228i, xDrive. We're gonna turn start stop off, which obviously is already off in sport mode. We're gonna be in sport mode, and let's go for a drive. So, under the hood, transverse mounted 2-liter inline 4, making 228 horsepower as per the 228i. And 267 pound-feet of torque. Now, this is crazy. 267 pound-feet of torque at 1,450 RPM, I believe this is the exact. Either way, it's between 1,400 and 1,500 RPM, you get that 267 pound-feet of torque. So, it is what you would expect from a modern BMW as far as a really punchy, low-down, torquey kind of power band from a high-strung, smaller displacement 4-cylinder engine. Now, this is not really a 2 Series. It's not what it appears on the outside, okay? So obviously, we've driven in the past a couple different M2s. We've driven a factory M2 up here in Canada, and I also drove the impressive wrap modified BMW M2 6-speed in the Angeles Forest Canyons with our good friend Sean a couple of years ago. Definitely to this day, even from all the modern 2020 and 2021 BMW models I've driven, that is still my favorite M product that BMW makes. And I'm hoping they're going to come out with a new generation, proper 2 Series or proper M2, like a new generation of that still retains that manual transmission. But until then, this is a new variant of the 2 Series. It's the 228i Gran Coupé. So if you're familiar with BMWs, you're already familiar with that kind of terminology, and that basically just means taking their ordinary 2-door platform and sticking another 2 doors on it. And as is the case with the recent BMW M8 Gran Coupé that we featured and reviewed recently, there are big differences between the 2-door 2 Series and the 4-door 2 Series. Just like that M8 had a much longer wheelbase and a bit wider of a track width, actually, than the 2-door M8. They're basically different cars. So the biggest thing here that we have to know, or that we have to note, as a driver who's looking to get into a very small BMW that kind of wraps around you, you don't have to worry about parking as much. It's just a tighter experience. You have to realize here, the engine is, as I mentioned, transversely mounted. So it is effectively, the base model is actually a front-wheel drive 2 Series. So here I am thinking, well, BMW, how can you possibly call this, well, they have, how could you possibly call this a 2 Series with a straight face? Because a 2 Series, in my mind, is a fun, small, lightweight, rear-wheel drive BMW, regardless of whether it's the M2 or the 235i or whatever. But this is, the base model is front-wheel drive, and this one we're driving today is fitted with BMW's xDrive system. If you're in a normal driving scenario and you're just driving, kind of putting around to and from work, and you're not pushing the car, most of the power is going to the front wheels, okay? It is a front wheel drive bias all-wheel drive system. All right, you guys, so this particular 228i that we've been given for the week is spec'd in this pretty striking, honestly, Melbourne red metallic. It is an optional color. It costs $895 here in Canada. The base price here in Canada, the 228 starts at right around $39,000 Canadian. This one, which I haven't really looked into it completely, but the as tested price is right around $52,000 Canadian. So there are quite a few options. One of those being the BMW LED adaptive headlights, which look very sharp. I actually really enjoy how the front end of the 2 Series here looks. It is no M2, but it has a few of these accents that kind of make it a much more sportier kind of looking sedan, even though it is so compact. Coming down here, we do have these lightweight 18-inch alloy wheels in the nice matte black. This is one of the first things I noticed about the car, honestly, in our driveway when I walked up to it. The other thing I noticed right away were these huge M Sport calipers, which I mean, the red and the blue, if that's your thing, that's your thing. For me, I'm not really digging the color combo, but it is interesting to see how big these M Sport brakes are in a car that kind of only has, 228 horsepower. It is also worth it to note that this one, because we are here in Canada, is spec'd with the Continental snow tires. So, take that into consideration, I guess, as you listen to my driving impressions and how it handles. Coming back to the side here, very short profile here, and I'll get into why this is not just your normal 2 Series. Very tiny doors. I mean, if you're much more taller than I am, you might have a bit of an issue getting into the back seat of this car. It's not the biggest. These doors are very small, but BMW has thought about this a little bit and has kind of given you a little leg or knee cutout, so to speak, in the front seats here to give you a little bit more extra space. Headroom back here, though, is very limited. I mean, what am I, 5'9", 5'10", and my head's touching the top of the roof, or the ceiling rather. So there is that to note. Coming around back here, as you can see, the back end here is nothing like the 2-door M2 cars, and that is because they are very different. I really enjoy how striking and how they kind of actually wrap around here. The taillights, but I don't know, something about like here to here is kind of an awkward shape. It's very square here, but that being said, this model was kind of originally designed for the European market, and this platform was first introduced here with the X1 and X3, I believe, and then now BMW is kind of testing the North American market and their buyers as far as a front-wheel drive based all-wheel drive compact sedan like this is concerned. So let's get back in the car and finish up the review. What you do get with the 228i is, first off, you get into the BMW brand for a relatively low cost, okay? We have the M adaptive suspension, we have the sports steering, we have the heated steering wheel. All of these things are extra. We have the heads-up display that is also extra. We have these wheels, but those are all options, okay? But as you can see, it's to get into BMW, regardless of the nameplate, is still kind of at the premium end of the market. And if you're looking for a turbocharged engine in a kind of smaller, more compact sedan or even a hatchback, you've really got to consider some of the other options, because for the money, for right around $36,000, I think that's basically a base price of a Mazda 3 Turbo or Mazda 3 Sport, right? The new Mazda 3 Turbo. So right here in the 228, you've got an 8-speed auto. Now here's what I've noticed over the past week driving it. Really good transmission, especially when you're kind of partial or mid-throttle. The shifts are seamless. You do not feel it shifting at all. Years ago, I would have said 8 speeds, 8 gears is way too much. But cars like the 228i continue to prove that that is just not the case. Fuel mileage has been great thus far. I think this is one of the most fuel efficient non-hybrid, non-plug-in hybrid BMWs that you can buy on today's market. But back to the transmission. So in EcoPro, it's great. In Comfort, it's great. And obviously, the M adaptive suspension actually changes slightly between those. And if you go configure individual, I'll show you guys real quick here. You can change the steering. And then you've got Comfort. So it is electronically assisted power steering, obviously. So Comfort just makes the steering a little bit lighter. The only downside with this 8-speed, when comparing it to some of the higher up models, let's say the 5 Series or the 8 Series, is the fact that, and I'll demonstrate this right now, at the higher RPMs, now you can rev just past 6,000 RPM here, it looks like about 65, it doesn't produce as smooth of a shift at all at full throttle high RPMs as it does at low RPMs partial throttle. So it does go from a very seamless experience around town at low RPMs to a kind of not so seamless experience when you do begin pushing the car. There is a little bit of a lurch there. It's not much, it's nothing bad. I mean, the 228 is a very well put together machine here, but as you begin to push the car, the underpinnings of that mini platform and of that front wheel drive base chassis really do start to show. Now obviously that has nothing to do with how the transmission shifts, but it kind of does, you know. All these things kind of culminate into what I would call a BMW that is on the, you know, on first impressions when you're driving it, let's say 6 to 7/10, and you're cruising nice on a back road and you're shifting with the paddles. It's a fun car. It's a fun car. The engine's great. It's a punchy 4-cylinder, and I've got zero complaints about the engine itself and the power delivery. I think it's a quick car. I think it does 0 to 60 in right around 6.1 seconds, which is not too shabby. Yeah, here on the interior, like I said, heated steering wheel, not as standard. Plastics are pretty good, soft touch plastics as you would expect. Some leather around here as well. This leather steering wheel with the paddles is optional. On the base front wheel drive model, you do not have the option to get paddle shifters. You know, and then again, actually, Grayson noticed this, and I had kind of the same experience. We do have different cases on our phones, but sometimes, depending on your case, the wireless charging pad here, which is an option, will not charge your phone with a case on it. Now, some manufacturers have this totally down, and I've seen incredibly, ridiculously large and robust cases provide no issue when using a charging pad. This one also does have the M Sport exhaust, which is pretty cool. On cold start, you know, it's got that burbly 2-liter sound, and when you do begin getting into it, it sounds nice, it sounds meaty, it's got a little bit of a grunt to it. Yeah, it's definitely coming in through the speakers though. Sounds like it to me. I mean, you can push it pretty good. It's not a slow car. Not a slow car. And I love the package size of it. I love how tight and small this chassis is. When I drive it, I just wish I was in a rear-wheel drive 2 Series. That's what I'm getting at here. But if you do need the 4 seats, or the 5 seats, I guess, 4 doors, then the Gran Coupé here might be worth looking at. I think BMW is really almost experimenting bringing this over from the European market to North America to see if they can slowly bring in some smaller vehicles into what BMW fans are actually buying here. So anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been the all-new BMW 228i xDrive here in Canada. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to hit subscribe if you haven't already to keep up to date on what we're shooting on a day-to-day basis. We've got a bunch of modified cars, press cars, and we might be going to Edmonton next month. So if you know someone or have a car or a cool car story you want to tell on our channel and you're from Edmonton, Alberta, hit me up on Instagram at Untraveled and maybe we can set something up. Thanks guys for watching. We'll see you soon.